In this video, I'm going to share with you Saint Benedict's 3 tools for great fundraising. Hi, I'm Brice Sokolowski, the founder of CatholicFundraiser.net, a website completely dedicated to helping Catholics just like you with your fundraising, whether you're a lay apostolate, a religious order, running a school, a parish, diocese, even a hermit. I've helped all of them, and I'm delighted that you're watching this video. Now, before I dive into St. Benedict's 3 tools for great fundraising, make sure, if you haven't done already, to go to my website, CatholicFundraiser.net, and download the 10 Commandments to Catholic fundraising. These are 10 things that I think every Catholic should be doing with fundraising because, well, it's things that I've learned as a Catholic fundraiser. It's things that I've learned from other Catholic fundraisers, and it's been read by over several thousands of people, and I've gotten nothing but great feedback. One nun said, do a little bit of tweak, but she was really thankful, and it was a tweak just to kind of like an edit on a quote of a saint. So there's that. Okay, let's dive into the 3 tools for great fundraising by Saint Benedict. Right now, this red book in my hand is actually the Rule of Saint Benedict, and it's really short, and I'm pretty much going to be diving into this a whole lot because Saint Benedict, I think, did a lot of great things, obviously, and I think there's a lot of wisdom in what he did, especially in restoring the church, building a monastic system, and you have to think that he had to get resources. He had to do some type of quote-unquote fundraising. So my question as a Catholic fundraiser, it's not just about fundraising, it's also about fundraising in a Catholic way. And what better way than to reference saints like Saint Benedict? And so here are the 3 things that I have learned from Saint Benedict, the 3 tools that I think will really help you with your fundraising. And number 1, I've got them written right here. Number 1 is never give a shallow greeting of peace, and I would include thanks as well. So never give a shallow greeting. And actually this week I spoke to a Catholic radio station up in the north, and they talked about this. I've been working with them, and they have made a real effort to acknowledge people as directly as possible, as opposed to writing just a generic appeal letter, a generic thank you, all that stuff. They've really made the time, energy, and effort to reach out one-on-one. Does it take a little bit more time? Absolutely. But as we see with St. Benedict, he says you've got to do this. And with fundraising, this radio station actually exceeded their expectations on their pledge drive. So the rule number 1 really works. Make sure that you don't do any type of shallow writing with your fundraising. Number 2, do not repay one bad turn with another. This is important in fundraising because, well, when we're asking somebody for a donation, I mean, more than likely they're going to say no. And that's okay. You know, you're not going to get 100% of people saying yes. It's impossible, not just because they don't want to, or they can't, they don't know you enough, they're already donating to other organizations. But don't get negative and don't get upset that people aren't donating to you. You know, don't return, as St. Benedict says, don't repay one bad turn. And, you know, it's not really that bad of a turn that somebody says no. So don't get upset that somebody said no. You know, think about, well, maybe they'll donate in the future. So stick with them and build that relationship. And I've seen it over and over again, turning no's into yeses. It just takes a matter of time. It takes a matter of doing step number 1, and you'll see a huge difference. Number 3, St. Benedict was really big on this. He says, refrain from laziness. Keep careful watch over all you do, hour by hour. You know, the monks are notorious for tracking their time because, you know what? They want to pray. And when they're not praying, they're not doing other stuff. And they recognize, well, I want to pray as much as I can. But at the same time, you know, I live in this world. I've got to do A, B, and C. I have responsibilities. And so they're notorious. I remember going to a Carthusian monastery, and they showed the timetable. It was actually, it had been, it's since been abandoned. But it was kind of like a museum, and they shared the hours so liturgy of hours and how they work, it was crazy. I thought it was crazy, but then when I saw it again, maybe a few years later, I thought, yeah, if they wanted to do all this praying and build in holiness, they had to have this type of schedule. And so it's the same thing with your fundraising. You have to not be lazy. Fundraising just doesn't happen by chance. And obviously, you really want to do your mission. You want to be helping people. And you want to maximize that time with helping people and doing your mission. So that small portion of your time in fundraising, you cannot be lazy about it. And so that's why I'm a big believer in the 10 Commandments of Catholic fundraising. Make sure you download that. And just subscribe to the website, I've got a YouTube channel. If you're watching it, fantastic, make sure to subscribe. If you're on my podcast, subscribe as well. But learn how to not be lazy with your fundraising, because it's going to negatively impact your mission. It's the same thing with Saint Benedict. He couldn't be lazy with all the other things that he was doing, because it would impact how often and how involved he was in his prayer life. So these are the three great tools of Saint Benedict based on his Saint Benedict rule. I hope you really found them helpful. Make sure to share them with somebody else. God love you, and have fun. See you next week. Bye.